welcome back to Talk Brussels. And now, in a new form,
you can see us.
So today is the first episode of our third season. Wow. Time flies, huh?
Oh my God, we get old.
Yes. Get old. And today we are going to talk about a subject that it's really part of what we call EU bubble. There's no EU bubble without this subject, actually, we realized. And we were going to talk about a place where the EU bubble is reuniting 1 day per week. Maybe you so far realize what I'm talking about, huh? Okay, yeah, that's Plux. So maybe you think this is a simple subject or like a very random subject, but bet you not, because you will hear a lot of stories today about what's Plux, what's the history behind it, what has become throughout the years and recently, and maybe what are the trends that are still created by the people and the waves of people that are coming every 6 months or every month to Brussels, because it's like a hub of people going in out of Brussels. Is like a destination that usually is temporary, but okay. So I will start a bit with how Plux was invented somehow. So Plux, it's the place that is located in Place de Luxembourg. It's in front of the European Parliament. It's the square in front of the European Parliament, and it's very well known for the Thursdays evenings where all the Eurocrats are meeting and they have fun and networking. But just a brief history of Plux. Its beginnings starts in the 19th century, and it's a square that has been built in a neoclassical style by, we have also a name, French or Belgian, I'm not sure, but we have a name. It's by the architect Antoine Trapenier. And it really became like an elegant public space that leads to the Leopold quarter station. And it has evolved throughout the years into a central urban hub within the European quarter in Brussels. So it's like the heart of the European quarter, actually. So it has evolved in a legendary, like, after work. It's like hotspot, and the Thursday evenings are like now a social ritual for trainees, for Eurocrats, and from this Plux became also a verb, like pluxing. So when people say let's do pluxing, it's like, you know what we're talking about. So now I'm just thinking, Isa, what do you know so far about Plux, and how did you experience Plux so far?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I think that so far I know Plux way better than when I arrived. But I remember that the first time that someone told me about Plux, I was still a trainee. I had no clue what it was. No clue. I was like, okay, Plux. I thought it was a bar or something, because I mean, we don't have such thing in where I'm from, in which we just mention something and we all know that it's that. We maybe, you can have, like in Madrid, you can have we meet in Sol, and that's Puerta del Sol, but it was not like a concept of Plux. So I remember that one of the first time that I arrived, I was like, but wait, this is right in front of the European Parliament. And I really started to understand what attracted everyone to the square, because I think that it's first, very well placed in the sense that it's in the center of what everyone wants to see. So the European Parliament, the European Quartier, it's in Ixelles, which is a rather popular commune in Brussels. It has bars, a lot of bars, and also the bars are cheaper than in the majority of places. I mean, not everything, of course, but if, for example, you're going to talk about beers or, like what everyone wants on a Thursday evening, beers, a cup of wine, like whatever, those are less expensive than, for example, if you go to the city center of the city or Châtelain, for example. But then I started to discover, I remember that we had, when I was a trainee, we had a kind of a lunchtime conference at work. I'm not kidding. About the story behind Place de Luxembourg. And they were basically telling us, I mean, there were many nice anecdotes. They were explaining you that it used to be the entrance of the railway station of the city, that actually that's what now is the European Parliament entry, this spot where tourists can go and you can get the accreditations to visit the Parliament and stuff. Yeah. And then you have the new entrance into the metro station. But in the past, that was a station. And of course, you have this statue, which I think no one knows who that guy is unless you dig into the story behind John Cockerill. And that's where I discovered that John Cockerill was a big industry man back in the 19th century in Brussels. And actually, he's responsible of the majority of the railways of Belgium. So he's an important person. You know what I mean? It's not like your random or your stereotypical statue that you can see in a place where people do what we call botellón in Spain, like buying beers in the shop next to you and just when you're just drinking in the grass. But that's what I knew. And when I went for the first time to Plux, let's say that what I discovered was way wilder than I had expected for a place that is sold as networking. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you also had that feeling when you went for the first time, in which first you were weirded out, because I think everyone has gone to Plux when they were trainees.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there is anyone in the city that has gone to Plux when they became senior management. I'm sorry, but for the first time. I think everyone is a trainee at first.
I think, maybe some senior managers, they didn't get the chance to experience Plux as it is today.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe I think this changed more in the last decade. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, actually, when I was looking into the story because I was like, but when did this become Plux? And from what I read online, thanks Google, it was in 2010. The first time that people really gathered in there to drink. So yeah, it's 15 years, huh? It's not much more.
But for me, the way I discovered Plux was really interesting. Yeah. I was an intern, and I was just finishing my first traineeship in Brussels. Mm-hmm. And just by chance, I had like the last drink in a hotel near Plux, like hotel reception. Yeah. And I wanted to go to take the bus to go home. And by chance, the bus had the bus station in Plux. And I see these gatherings of people. It was really still a bit of COVID, end of COVID. And I was like, whoa, people have freedom again? And I was like, but what is happening here? And I had that feeling like, whoa, I want to be part of this, Then I go home. I didn't realize what happened to me. I just appreciated the vibe, the place, etc. And then I started my other traineeship. And that was the moment I discovered the Thursdays night in Plux. And I was like, whoa. So I had a bit of an intro by myself. And then when I really realized the concept of Plux, I was like, this gonna be my place for the next 6 months. And that was it. For me, Plux was one of the best experiences I had in Brussels. I felt like I was a student, but with more money because I was doing a traineeship. And I was there every Thursday, dancing on the tables, talking with people, with trainees. So social, so intercultural. It was such a good vibe. And especially during summer, wow, when there is a day until 11 and with the amazing sunset on the sky, and you have your beer because you still buy cheap alcohol when you're a trainee. Now I buy a cocktail from time to time, but okay. So you have your beer and you just 30. Yeah, and you enjoy the atmosphere and stuff. Whoa, such a good experience, and good music, good conversations. And at one point you don't remember the conversations because you get drunk.
Actually, I don't know if you were here already, because for a while during COVID, and I am guessing that those who are listening to us that arrived before COVID or that stayed over COVID. So I'm talking about 2020. 2020. Exactly. Plux was closed completely. Like there was no Plux because in Belgium for many months, like we had different waves of COVID, but in general, everything was closed. Someone had the idea of moving Plux into the Park Leopold. You know, it's very close by. I mean, it's really close by to Plux. And so we were meeting, and instead of Thursdays, it was on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays became the day of the Park Leopold. And that was like our experience of Plux. But of course, it was like just buying cheap alcohol in the supermarket and just having fun with friends. I have some pictures back then with my friends when we arrived. And every trainee did it. Every trainee. I mean, we were still a bit hesitant because I think we were all very scared of COVID, of course. So you could have different groups of people. So it was not like Plux, you know, because it was really you, your friends, and your bubble. And if you saw people that you didn't know, you would never even reach. You know, it was like, no, we don't know. But I remember that was also one of my in the middle experiences with Plux, because first I saw Plux when I was very, very early a trainee. It closed. Then it was Quartier Leopold. And then when I stopped being a trainee, Plux came back. Mm-hmm. And oola, that was a wild ride. Oh my God. It was crazy. If you could think of one of the wildest things you have lived in Plux, what would it be? Please don't fire us. We like our jobs.
Actually, that has nothing to do with the job. I think the wildest things that I experienced there was, when we have these weekends, like long weekends that they are prolonged. Like no, they start from Thursday evening until like Monday. So there was one of these days in May that we had 3 days because of national holidays, whatever, since Wednesday. And since Wednesday, they already started in Plux. It like the Wednesday became the Thursday of the Plux that year. And it was just simply amazing. All the terraces were open. Mm-hmm. It was full of people. The traffic was rediverted because you had a multitude of people, like hundreds of people there. Mm-hmm. It was a very good day. It was almost summer. And I started to drink. End of story. No, it's just like, and very like when you are with your friends, you have good music. Again, you dance on the tables. You have a good time. I love dancing, so I had to dance. I think I danced for 4 hours continuously. And the crazy thing is that it was the first time in my life I went there at 6 p.m. and I went back home at 3:30 a.m. or 4. No bus, no nothing. One of my friends took me into her house for the day, and I ended up safe. But yeah, that was crazy because it was the longest night in Plux. Very cool, very good music, very good atmosphere, and yeah, lots of drinks. That's the craziest for me. I'm sorry. No, but I'm sorry. The craziest is like with getting a bit drunk, but
yeah. No, but it's not something like super crazy that you have done. It's more like you've seen or people around you have told you.
Really?
No. Because I know you like it, guys. You like the sauciness that we provide with this episode. So I have several things I've seen or I have heard of during my nights in Plux. One of them was very early, very, very early on my Plux years. We're talking 2020. There was this person that I went to Plux with. Was not my friend. It was, these typical things that you get together with other people and then you go to Plux and stuff. Yeah. And I will not say any details of this person because, of course, this is more anecdotal. Plux is supposed to be a bit private-ish, so I'm not going to say anything. But there was a case of a person I went to Plux with who got, hooked up with someone in Plux. And that someone became this person's boss like 4 months later. And they had never met. They had never met. They were not working on the same space. They were not working for the same company. But somehow they became, one became manager and the other one became the employee. And that would haunt me for the rest of my life. I remember that when I saw this, then I was like, okay, no, you have to be careful in Plux. Because it's true that, Plux has two things. You have the moment of networking, which is, I think, it's true that it's very networky-y in a way. Like, people really do networking, even if I actually hate when they do, but that's fine. But then there is a moment of the night in which people have drunk a bit too much sometimes. And, it's like after 10, 11, 12 p.m. And then things start get a bit of, like a nightclub. It's like a nightclub. It's just that it's a nightclub full of people who work together.
And also they work the next day.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Problematic. That's why I don't go to Plux anymore. But you have your things when you're single and stuff like that, and people have their things there when you're single and when you're not, let's face it. Some people another thing that I've seen there is a lot of infidelity, but to each their own. But another thing, so basically people hook up, and when I see people hook up there, I'm always like, I would never do that. Like, okay, you can meet someone there and then go and start having dates or whatever with that person. That I've done. I've done. Guilty. But the thing of doing it in Plux where everyone can see you, that's risky.
Some people like to live risky lives.
Yeah, well, and some people like to be jobless, but it's not. Question. Did you also have the moment in which you didn't recognize your Plux? For example, when I was a trainee, Plux was my moment to see all the people that I was not friends with, but I liked. And we had, bumped into each other in a conference or whatever. And then it was nice. It was comforting to see them in Plux. It was the typical, hey, how are you doing and stuff. And I really liked Plux for that reason until 2022, 2023, that I stopped recognizing the people in Plux. And so everyone was super young. I didn't recognize them at all. Stopped having fun because I was like, okay, then I come here with my friends, but I don't know anyone else. There is no chit chat. There is no keep us up to date with what is going on with your life. So why am I not with the friends I came to Plux in another bar, just having a normal drink without the, and that's when I stopped going to Plux. That is the moment I said,
Yeah. It happened to me because I discovered Plux with the batch of trainees that I started with. So I knew not the trainees from my place, but from other places as well. So the more you go, the more you understand who is there on a daily basis, and you get to know the faces, familiarity, etc. And you start to also say hello and also to meet in meetings, conferences, whatever. So you get to see your people weekly, but after the traineeship stop, a lot of them leave left Brussels, as it's usual in Brussels. So only few familiar faces stay there, but the Plux was never before. It never had the same energy as it had during those months I was a trainee. Then, like when I changed the job, it kind of like transformed into another Plux. It was a more mature Plux, a more let's go with colleagues, more a bit for me. It was more like stable, let's say, stable from the how much I can party. But still, it had a good vibe. But I feel like every time I'm changing jobs or like there is a change, also the Plux changes. And of course it changes because I change. It's changed because I change in perspective, etc. So now, like as you said, like I'm not going anymore to Plux. I haven't been to Plux for a few months, and I'm like, am I cheating on Plux with someone else, like with another place, like exactly. So I miss Plux. I miss Plux from time to time, especially the crazy night sometimes. But now it's impossible to do it. But yeah, I don't think it will ever have the same vibe. Some things, that's the thing. Some things are meant to be lived at the moment when like if you are there, just leave it there. The energy it has, the people it has around, because everything in life changes. So it's like just be in the present moment and live that moment. So now I'm experiencing Plux differently. I still enjoy it, but with more calmness, let's say, with more precautionity.
Yeah. Actually, I think I started to live Plux differently with you guys when we started, because Ioana and I used to work together. That's how we met, as we said several times in the past. And of course, I really liked it because in my first jobs in Brussels, I was not really surrounded by people my age. So I was going with the trainees that I had met or friends that I had brought from, because I studied, EU law and European studies. So the majority of my friends came. But I never had gone with work colleagues. And I really enjoyed the vibe that we got when we went as colleagues with the rest of the team and then the managers sometimes. It was very nice. And I think that Plux is less wild. That Plux is very chill. It's just going normal. It depends on the side also. It depends on the side of Plux you go to. Because I think that we have not been paid to say these names. But if you go to Ginette or the Beers Bank, I think it's called, Beers Factory.
Yes.
I always confuse it with the one in Jourdain.
Anyway.
The beers next to yes. That is more chill in general.
Yeah.
That is more like, let's have dinner, let's have a beer, let's have whatever. The side in front, I mean, that's another vibe. A lot of thieves have taken phones from my friends over the years there. A lot of reggaeton has been danced.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of, that is wilder, I think.
Yeah.
So with you guys, we used to just go to Ginette. And that was nice. I really enjoyed it. And also because it gave me the perspective of, okay, if it's 11 or 12 and I'm super tired, because I stopped also drinking alcohol more than a year ago. So I was like, okay, I want to go home. And I didn't feel bad. I felt like I had fun. It was not too much. It was like the perfect Plux.
Yeah.
So I think that you discovered a different Plux for me. But I think the last time I went to Plux, it was last year. Yeah, more than a year ago.
The side is crazy. That's the side where you dance on the tables. You still can dance on the tables, by the way, if someone is curious. And these are the bars that also stay open until late. So that's the Plux that I discovered first. But actually, I discovered Plux in 2011. Yes.
Look at her.
Yeah, actually, I just realized that it was part of my life. Plux. Somehow we were meant to be. I came to a visit to Brussels when I was in the 11th grade, and it was to visit the European Parliament, and we just visited the European Parliament, and I was so excited. I was like, wow, one day I would like to work in this institution. It will be nice. And having this like really nice experience visiting the European Parliament and doing some games about on politics, etc. I was so excited. After the visit with the group, we decided to have a coffee or a drink, and the first place next to the parliament was Place de Luxembourg. And we just sat down. I was admiring so much like the surroundings. I was like, wow, this is so cool, such a nice place. It was a sunny day. Wow, sunny day in Brussels. And I was like, yay, this town has a vibe. And then suddenly there is a singer that is just playing the accordion. Of course, he was Romanian, by the way. And I was like, it feels like home also. Anyway, so that was a tiny little part. So I was just at the terrace. I think it was like London terrace, or like just the, I don't know, Cartier Leopold terrace, and I could see the European Parliament. And I had like this aha moment. I was like, whoa, will I ever come here again in this place? And after 10 years, I realized that one night in Plux, I was at the same table drinking a drink and looking at the European Parliament, and then I had that deja vu, but it was deja vu, like literally. I already saw it 11 years ago, like 10 years ago. So I was like, whoa, I'm back where I never thought that I will be back. And it was such a reconnection with my old self and with me that was so evolved after so many years. And finally being there and doing, I was so close to my dream, you know, like, wow, I'm here in Brussels already. I was already a trainee in the EU bubble, and I was so excited. I was like, yeah. So life happens like this. So actually, maybe this is one of the crazy stories, you know, what happened to what happened to me related to Plux. And I was really excited, and I'm still excited actually about this, because when I was in the 11th grade, I never thought that my life will be in Brussels. And also like Plux will have such a big part from my experience in the EU bubble. So
do you see a lot of differences about Plux when you came in 2011 and when you came back in 2021?
When in 2011, I only saw it as a square that has terraces. It had terraces, and that's it. But in now, like when I moved to Brussels, it was a way bigger story behind it. So I could never make a comparison.
It was subjective,
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, Plux has been, I think it's the beauty of when you're a trainee and you're new to the city and you have all these dreams and all these expectations. Plux becomes a place, a bit of recognition of where you are, but also a bit of a crazy thing, like, oh my God, I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, for example, I remember that one of the recommendations that we were given in my trainship was that we should be careful in Plux about what we spoke about. Please, new trainees of the world, don't talk about what you do at work and the secretive things that you do at work in Plux. Like, un poquito de s'il vous plaît. Don't do that. It's just like, it's like the 101. I still hear people doing that, but it's fine. So the first thing they tell you is, please do not, give information about what you do in Plux, because there is people hearing you. There is people who you don't know what they're doing there, and they actually might be there to get the information, which is true, by the way. True. So there is, it's like a bit spice. There are spice in Plux, okay? So that is the case. And still some people really don't pay attention and are a bit about what they do in Plux, but that's fine. And then also, I think there is the place in which you start reconnecting with a lot of people. And for me, that was also the moment to see the growth in my colleagues that were trainees with me Because that was the place in which you, as I was mentioning, you met them and they were explaining you that they got a normal job, you know, like a proper job.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have very, very fond memories of my time in Plux when I was a trainee and when I was a junior, you know. But it's true that, I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know how to compare it to something. I don't think there is nothing comparable to Plux. Nothing that I've ever lived. It's like a campus type of thing. It's like university, you know, like when you go to uni and you have these festivities that are only for the university. I think it feels a bit like that. Because you know everyone.
Because it's like, it's the place where you meet your people.
Yeah, it's the place where you know you're gonna see your crush. Yeah. It's the place. Oh yeah, that we all have been that. Oh, that was nice. That was cute.
Depends what kind of crush. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but it was cute. That's where you were going to see your friends. That's where you talk about work with your colleagues, but in a very careful way. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and with the colleagues, sometimes it feels like team building. It's like connecting with each other, and this is how I also like made friends through colleagues. I mean, this is how we also like bounded each other even more, because when you do outside activities of work, it's like you realize that you match with some people and you realize you really don't match with other people. So I think that's a plus in Plux. Yeah. And also, like you mentioned, the spiciness, like Plux also hosts remember the protest of the farmers? That was crazy. That was crazy.
When the statue was broken.
Exactly, the poor statue.
Yeah, poor John.
He's back at work, but with some.
No, of course I do remember. I do remember very well. I mean, that's also the beauty of Plux. I think Plux can host a lot of things. It's true that we know what we know as Plux. In general, Pluxing is Thursday night.
Yeah.
But also Plux is the acronym for Place de Luxembourg, and it's also the place where you have this like mini, I think it's on Tuesdays, no, that you have this mini market and you can have like a drink and you can have a taco in the streets in summer. And that's also where a lot of political protests happen. And actually it's interesting to see because sometimes they happen during Plux. So you have this dichotomy in which you have the bars like zooming with people, and then in the center you have a protest about, you know, a country and they're asking for democracy in X country or whatever. And that's very nice to see because also people get interested and they approach the protesters and stuff. So I mean, in the end, it's in front of the European Parliament.
Yeah. Diverse place, it really has its own personality. That's why, I mean, I feel like this was worth talking about. Plux has a personality, and it has like it's making like history every year. Yeah. So it's becoming like more and more historical in this sense.
Oh my God, I thought I remembered something. Like all of a sudden. You remember it was in Plux. I don't know, maybe we should. It was in Plux that we found out that 3 of us in our group of friends had dated the same guy. I mean, wow. Yeah, that's a story.
I'm not sure if dated, but like we just like chatted, whatever. Yeah, it's
But it was funny.
Because Brussels, and because small city, and because everyone is interconnected, and because Plux again.
It's this typical moment in which you're walking and then you cross this person and some of the like one of the 3 of us said hi and then the other 2 said like, what do you know that person from? And then it was like the story, and then that was intense. That was very funny. But it was very funny.
No, indeed.
That was so Plux. I think that is the most Plux thing that can work, like can happen ever.
Indeed.
It's crazy. Sorry. Interruption. It's just that my brain said, do you remember?
Interruption. People be aware. You would meet people that you want to meet and people that you don't want to meet. Yeah. And you could meet versions of yourself that you don't want to see again, but well, you never know.
No recording.
And sorry. Yeah, and like I wanted to talk about also about I'm thinking about the residents that live in Plux.
Yeah, there are not many, right? Anymore.
There are some. I mean, I have a friend that she's living just in the same building with Sputino. Again, we are not doing advertisement, but that's the real
But yeah, sorry, you will
Yeah.
open Google Maps, you will see the name.
Yeah, exactly. And she told me that on Thursdays she can barely enter in her house because there are people everywhere on front of the building, and also on the trottoir and on the stairs. She's like, I really have to ask people to move so that I can enter into my house. And it's a lot of noise, that's for sure. I mean, she told me that she cannot sleep in the bedroom that is next to the street where people are, because it's a lot of noise. So Plux is always like on Thursday it's alive. It's like it's that feeling of the city never sleeps during Thursdays evenings in Plux. But other than that, she told me that during the week everything is dead. Like even in the weekends, like everything is like.
But because it's very business-like, I think that for Excel, I always see Excel like the separation is like tronc is the last moment of like not moment like the last part of Excel that is really residency, like people live. And then when you start going into Plux, you start the parliament. And if you continue, there you have the committee of the regions, you have the commission, you have all the organizations, you have the European movement, you have so many in that area. So in the end, I think that also I would never live next to a bar. That is, I mean, the risk that you have. But some people like it because if you go to Plux, actually, you don't care. You know what I mean? If you're a Plux, if you're a Plux goer and you go every Thursday, it's actually even good. But yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is our non-alcoholic drinks. Hey, cheers.
Cheers for the sangrita.
Well,
Also, because we touched upon it, but actually, do you know why it happens on Thursdays and not on Fridays?
I think I know, but I'm not sure. You correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe this trend started with the people that work in the European Parliament, because on Friday they usually work less hours than the other like you bubble companies and stuff.
Maybe. Actually, it could be. The theory I have heard is that because the majority of people that work in the EU bubble come from outside Belgium, because we are not Belgians, apparently they do it on Thursdays because Friday after work is the moment people travel back home. So the majority of trainees were either going back home or doing like, field trips type of thing, or people are going back home. So the majority are not there for the weekend and not there for Friday. So Thursday is the only moment in which you actually can have everyone in there.
Yeah.
I think, I heard that, but I don't know. Maybe it's also
It's a combination of
maybe it's a combination indeed.
factors.
Yeah.
Added to that.
But yeah, so one, would you give any recommendations to trainees listening to us about what to do and not to do in Plux? I just said the don't talk about what you do thing.
One thing to do is go. The thing is, every time I was a mentor for like trainees, and one of the like they were so focused on work and stuff, and I was like, breathe a bit and then enjoy also this part of the EU bubble. This is a must do. You need to go in Plux and just try it at least once. If it works, if it talks to you, okay. If not, you just tried it, but give it a chance, because it as you said, there are two Pluxes. One in the first part of the evening that people like leave home at 9, maximum 10, and then there are also people that stay until 1, 2. So it could talk to a lot of categories of people. So for me, it's a go there, try it with a friend, with a colleague, just try it, or even alone, just try it, just to see the vibe, because it's how I discovered it alone, and I was like so excited. Another thing is to be curious, like if you also it is the first time you come to Brussels and etc. Try just to be open. Like people are very communicative and sociable during the nights in Plux, and that I think that's an advantage, that you can get to know more people. Maybe you could create more friendships.
Yeah.
And this could also last for a long time. I met people in Plux in the first year of my time in Belgium that I still have at the moment, and I'm so happy that I met them randomly in Plux by dancing, by dancing or by just staying next to each other, sharing a drink, or like on the grass in front of this guy. What was his name again? The statue. John. Nicola. Okay, John. Whatever. So so it's cool, it's fun, and you can hear so many crazy stories from people coming all over the world, because like literally Brussels is such a multicultural city. And the thing in Plux, you don't have only EU bubble, you have a lot of outsiders, let's say. I will put it like this, like they're like people that are also like from Belgians, you know, like and it's super cool when I see this melange, because some of my friends that I met, they were Belgians, and I was like, yeah, that's so cool, because it's a bit outside of like Belgians that were not working in the EU bubble. So I like this diversity. And other things for the trainees not to do, please don't get that wrong. I know the beer is cheap, but please,
don't be blacklisted. Don't get blacklisted. Exactly. And people will say, such a classist way of thinking. Not really, because the problem with alcohol, and that's why we don't drink, the problem with alcohol is that it messes with your head, okay? And it messes with your personality when you get too drunk. That's it. Like, some people behave in a way that they would never do if they were sober. And I think there is a special mix when you are drunk and surrounded by professionals in your sector that is very dangerous. I mean, it's like Plux is like a work event on steroids. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like it's like when you have, I mean, how can I describe this? When you have the parties at work, there is a limit of drunkenness that you get because you're surrounded by your bosses. Plux is the same. It's just that people don't realize it yet. But also because the way that you're going to grow with these people. Some people you are trainees with might become your bosses one day. That's how it is. And that's how it works. So I think reputation is very important in this city. And I think that you also need to be a bit, logical with what you do, and a bit careful. That's just be careful. And maybe another advice I would give trainees. I'm sorry, I feel a bit bad because I actually had to tell a trainee off back in the day because of this in Plux. But there is a limit about how much you should network in Plux. Meaning, it was back in the day, and I was with some friends. I already had a more stable job. And they introduced me to some trainees. Very nice. And you know me, I love talking to trainees. It's very fun because I like it. I've been there. I know the feeling of, oh my God, I'm so lost. So I love helping them. But there are moments and moments. And I don't think that the best place to have a proper conversation about work and pushing someone to give you advice on how to do what to do and tell them all your sad stories is a Thursday at 11 p.m. around alcohol. I'm sorry, you don't know me. And at some point, I think trainees also need to understand that the professionals that go to Plux that have more stable jobs are not necessarily there to network. They go with their friends already well established. And so, yeah, it happened to me that I had to tell a trainee, like, do you mind if we do this conversation tomorrow over coffee? Because I really don't want to talk about work right now, So, and he took it a bit badly. Couldn't care less. But I mean, don't do that. Just make the connection and then say, I will drop you a line and we can have a coffee another day. It's super easy. Yeah. And you don't ruin someone's night,
Yeah, no, I think I had this before. I had this before, like people that they come and they are so focused on the career and so focused, like, this is my goal. I'm gonna work on these people just to get to what I want, and that I don't like the attitude. So I prefer, like, yeah, you can open the subject, but only to see like a better moment to talk about that.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, don't it's kind of like you're pushing a bit my free time, because here I'm out of.
Yes.
So it's like I want to enjoy it as well.
That's the thing.
As you enjoy it. Okay, maybe you have a mission just to stay, etc. I understand, but as you said, we can do it. We can still discuss it. I'm not rejecting or something. We can still discuss, but
I need a mental break.
Yeah.
That's a bit the thing. Yeah. No, I mean, also don't. I mean, also don't be a shark. I mean, in the sense that be respectful with people who, in your understanding, because you are the best in the world, are below you. What do I mean by that? There are a lot of people in Brussels that think they are the best in the world because they've never been given a reality check. That's a bit it, okay? And so this is what it's known in the European bubble as the sharks. And it happened to me with some friends that one of my friends did not work in the bubble. Okay. You know the story. So he was a photographer and a videographer somewhere else. But he was not specialized on EU affairs. He was just someone normal working in the private sector. And he was there with us. And so there was this person that we had never seen in the past, like never seen her. And she came to talk to us. And then she was like doing this, you know, like, what's your name? And where do you work at? And blah, blah, blah. And you could see that depending on where you worked at, she was interested or not. But it was so obvious that I remember I told my friends, let's go. I mean, what are we doing with this person? I don't want to spend my time with this person, because we were like, she was really talk to our friends, to me, but oh, nice, yeah, because she liked our positions and stuff. And then she came to my friend and she said, and you? And then he introduced himself. He said what he did. And she looked at him and she said, okay. And then continue with the next. And I was like, my woman, behave. And so, yeah, don't be elitistic. Don't be elitistic. Some people, I think they can lose sight, and some trainees lose sight because they get overly excited and they think because they made it somehow, they're better than others. And it's like, dude, relax. This is a job.
Exactly. And again, the job does not define you as a human being.
No, quite the contrary sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we know the sharks. I also know examples, and it was literally like this, like people, like temporary people hanging out with you to find out what position you have and if they can go up to your level, like how quickly, over 2 beers, over one cocktail, or etc. And then when they don't get what they want, or if they get what they want, they just disappear. Like,
yeah, they don't even say hello if they see you again. It's crazy. Yeah, it's
they don't know you anymore, and stuff.
So I think that's why Plux became a trainee place. Honestly, I think that's why a lot of permanent people who have been here years, they don't go to Plux anymore, because it's fun for a while, but there's people who are a bit heavy to, you know, to be on a personal level. And so that's why I think that also there is a move. When people become a bit older, they move into Place de Luxembourg. that is the Plux. Oh, Jourdain, yeah. So those two places are like or Grand Central. It's like when you start having more like juniorish or more senior. I'm actually more senior positions. You start coming to those places instead of Plux. It's more calm. You go with your friends that you have already made and stuff like that. And it's more comfy. But yeah. So yes, please, people, be nice to people. Be nice. Be humble. We all were born knowing nothing.
Humbleness. Yeah. That's one of the main values I feel like a human being should have, whatever the context. Don't forget, we are all humans at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night. Yes. It's really like, this doesn't define you as a person. What defines you as a person is your values, being humble, being kind, being just authentic, being just
a good person.
Yeah.
And I think with this, we come to an end of this episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for staying with us another episode, another 50 minutes of your life. It means a lot to us. Just a bit of a disclaimer. We are starting to do this thing of the live podcast, not live, sorry, but video podcast. So of course, everything is very, homemade, and we're doing it. No, but yes, it's cheap. That is a TV, okay? So it's that. Let's present the background of my phone in a picture that I am transmitting into the TV, just because they are the same brand and they connect like that. Okay, that's basically it. But yeah, we're doing our best. This is a hobby. Yeah, this is our hobby, but we really like, talking to you, and some of you have started recognizing us at work also, and on the street and stuff.
Exactly, recognizing our voice. That was crazy. Yeah. I was so flattered.
I always feel so weird.
Really?
I become small. Yes, thank you. It's so thank you very much for staying with us another season. And we have a lot of surprises coming. We have some episodes that we know that you loved, and that you liked, and we will do a second part. We are not going to disclose which ones. And yeah, so follow us in talk.brussels on Instagram. We will try to be a bit more active, but let's face it, we probably won't. But we still love you. We don't get paid for this, remember. And yeah, so see you on the next episode. Bye.